Welcome back to another video. It is football season again. I am super excited for NFL and college football. But today, we are predicting the Thursday and Friday games for week 1 of the college football season. Tomorrow will be the Saturday games. I didn't want this video to be too long, so that's why I'm splitting it up. Let's get straight into it with Boise State versus South Florida. This game is at South Florida, and it could be close. Boise State does not have Ashton Jeanty anymore, but I still think Boise State will win by at least a touchdown. Let's get into the next matchup, Ohio at Rutgers. Rutgers is favored by 2 touchdowns, and I think they will win. Next, we have Lafayette versus Bowling Green. It's an FCS versus FBS. I think Bowling Green will come out on top by at least 2 or 3 touchdowns. Next, this is a pretty interesting game. East Carolina at NC State. I don't know, but East Carolina might be able to pull off this upset. But NC State is favored by 2 touchdowns. So I'm going to look at East Carolina's roster. I don't know how good their roster is ever since they lost Siobhan Ravel to the NFL draft. But I think they will be able to pull off this upset. Next, let's go to Jacksonville State versus UCF. UCF is probably going to come out on top of this game. They're favored by at least 3 touchdowns. I think they'll probably win by a little more than that. So, let's get back. I think this is a rivalry game, Delaware State and Delaware. With Delaware just joining the FBS this season, I think Delaware will come out on top. Next, let's go to another FBS-FCS matchup, or St. Francis might be able to pull this upset because UL Monroe's star running back, Ahmad Hardy, transferred to Mizzou. So I think it will be a very close game with St. Francis coming out on top. Let's go to Wyoming versus Akron. This is another interesting matchup, and Wyoming is favored at Akron. And I think this should be correct. And I think Wyoming will win at least by a touchdown. Next, we have another FCS FBS matchup. A few of those coming up, actually, which I think Mizzou will win, Duke will win, and Oklahoma State will all win their games. Alright, next is Buffalo against Minnesota. Minnesota is favored by 3 possessions. I think they'll at least win by 3 touchdowns, maybe. But I know Buffalo has some decent linebackers. And next we have another FBS-FCS matchup, 2 in a row here. Houston and UAB will come out on top. Next we have probably another very interesting game. Nebraska and Cincinnati, a Big 10, Big 12 matchup, where I think Dylan Raiola and Nebraska will come out on top. And also, I think Nebraska could be a sneaky playoff team this year. Maybe in the top 25, but they might not make the playoffs, but that'd be kind of cool. Maybe a dark horse playoff team. Next, we have Miami, Ohio versus Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin's going to come out on top. They are favored by 17.5. Next, we have a few more FCS, FBS matchups where San Diego State and Army will come out on top. But I do know Army has lost their star quarterback and Kanye Udo to Arizona State. It could be close, but I still think Army's going to come out on top. It will be a lower scoring game. Next, we got Western Michigan, Michigan State. I'm sure Michigan State is going to come out on top. They're favored by 20.5. Another game, Kansas State and Wake Forest. For sure, Wake Forest is coming out on top. maybe not for sure, but I know they're starting fifth-year senior Robbie Ashford. Just got that news recently. Next, we have the Dukes Mayo Classic, App State and Charlotte. App State is favored, but they did lose Joey Aguilar. I don't know who their starting quarterback will be. I am going to look at their roster, see what options they have. Okay. I'm pretty sure AJ Swan will start, but I could be wrong. But I'm going to go with Charlotte on this game. So let's go to the next couple of games here. I think, FIU, Illinois, and Kansas will all come out on top. Illinois is favored by 45. That should be a blowout. Next, we have Auburn versus Baylor. Auburn is favored, but I am going to go with Baylor at home on this one. SEC versus Big 12 matchup. Should be a pretty fun game. Another fun game, Georgia Tech and Colorado. I think Caden Salter is going to lead Colorado to a victory. Next, we got UNLV and Sam Houston. UNLV's new coach, Dan Mullins, had a great debut last game. I really like UNLV's run attack, with Jaden Thomas running for 3 touchdowns and 14.7 yards per carry. So I have UNLV coming out on top. Next, let's go to Central Michigan and San Jose State. This is our last prediction of these Thursday-Friday games. And I think San Jose State is going to come out on top at home. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. Not many exciting games for Thursday-Friday, but tomorrow we'll predict Saturday's games. Got some really exciting ones. Give y'all a preview here if you want to take a quick glance. And I did not predict Week 0 games because there was not really that many. So I just decided not to do it. Because there's only 5 games. But let me know if you like these predictions. Leave a comment if you have any changes or updates on rosters. Anything I don't know about, just let me know. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. See y'all tomorrow. Bye.